Tonight on DC News Now, rallying against the monumental sports move heading to Virginia.
So we think fundamentally this is a fiscally irresponsible thing to be doing.
Could their voices put a stop to the arena? Addressing the issues.
We also have to retain people and keep them in the door.
More criticism when it comes to DC's 911 call center. What a former call taker is saying.
We'll be jumping into the 60s for our Friday, but we'll let you know if a few rain showers would try and interrupt the party.
And honoring Black History Month.
We want to intrude on a market that's underrepresented of African Americans.
We sit down with a couple breaking beer boundaries.
Stretching your dollar, the class action settlements to add money to your pocket this month.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
And thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 5. I'm Tosin Fakile. Today, some of the strongest opponents of that proposed arena in Alexandria rode down to Richmond together on a bus to tell lawmakers why they should stop the plans for that arena before any ground is broken. Our Max Marcilla is in Richmond where those protesters were gathered. And Max, it was quite the turnout today.
Well, Tosin, we've seen the coalition to stop the arena at Potomac Yard rally in Alexandria before. They've done so a couple of times in the last few weeks. Today, their mission was different. They wanted to come here to Richmond to share that message with essentially the first line of defense, the state lawmakers who are currently considering a bill that would start the process to bring the Wizards and the Capitals to Alexandria from the district. Just steps away from the Virginia State Capitol.
This project is a bad deal.
These Alexandrians and Washingtonians held a press conference and rally with their message aimed directly at lawmakers.
We elected them to make the tough decisions, and that's true. The good thing is this is a really easy decision.
Throughout the day, members of the coalition to stop the arena at Potomac Yard met with lawmakers, warning them of what they call downsides of a plan to approve this entertainment district, centered around a new home for the Caps and Wizards, ranging from transportation and the economics of the deal to what the district would lose.
We're amplifying what they already know. I can't tell you how they're going to vote, but I know they're listening.
Late Monday afternoon, Monumental Sports pushing back, calling the project a win-win and saying making this a reality would bring a broad economic impact to the region.
If we want to win championships and we want to bring great fans into this community, we need to provide a different arena and a different experience for them.
The arena bill making its way through Richmond is expected to be put forward to the Senate Finance Committee tomorrow, the first hurdle it faces in Richmond. Chair Louise Lucas had this to say.
That if I don't get some of the priorities met that we have for Hampton Roads, that I'm never going to vote for an arena.
The bill lawmakers here are considering essentially would create the Stadium Authority. That's the body that would finance the construction of the $2 billion project. So that's what lawmakers have to consider. It's also worth noting that the funding mechanism, at least what's proposed right now, the bonds that would get paid back that the Stadium Authority would create partially from Monumental and private funds and partially from the revenue they expect this arena, if it does become a reality, would generate. That's what lawmakers have to consider, and again, we're expecting that could start as early as tomorrow. Reporting live in Richmond, Max Marcilla, DC News Now.
Max, thank you for going to Richmond to cover that for us. Meantime, the Alexandria Chamber of Commerce says it's endorsing the planned sports and entertainment district in Potomac Yard. That announcement came yesterday. The chamber believes the project will help economic growth in the city. They also say they need to attract projects that expand the city's tax base. All right, your time is 5:04 tonight. Let's take a live look at the National Cathedral, where we had a mix of sun and clouds, comfortable temperatures. But are we expecting this warm up to linger? Here's a man with the answer. We're heading over to meteorologist Damon Matson with a check on that forecast. And Damon, I mean, we are excited about the weekend.
Oh, we sure are, Tosin. I mean, just as a whole, it's the weekend coming up. You always got to be excited about that. But when you have warm temperatures and this quiet weather on top of that, oh my goodness, that's just the perfect setup, more or less. Now, folks, we did have a little bit of a chilly start still. There was some improvement overnight last night into this morning. We did not get quite as cold, but nonetheless, we still had plenty of 20s, especially toward the Shenandoah Valley, and some of those 30s hanging on closer to the DC Metro. So we needed to climb out of that a little bit throughout the day today, but the combination of a southerly wind as well as a decent amount of sunshine between that cloud cover resulted in high temperatures this afternoon into the mid and upper 50s. We even had a few 60s, a little pocket of those back toward Luray and Woodstock there in the Shenandoah Valley. So it just turned out fantastic with these warmer temperatures. And we are still dealing with some of that passing cloud cover, but that is really it. That is all we're going to have to deal with as we move forward into the evening. Just that high cloud cover filtering out any clear sky that we could see. So as we move on through the 6, 7, 8 o'clock hours, temperatures will be dropping as they always do after sunset, but not quite as quickly as recent days. We should stay in the 40s for the most part over the next few hours. And the warm up does not just apply to the afternoons, folks. We will be staying mild as we go through the night tonight and into the start of the day on Friday. So what does that mean for the peak of this warm up on Friday and Saturday? How warm do we get, and when could there be some rainfall as we move into the first half of the weekend? We'll have a full look at your forecast coming up here in just a bit.
Looking forward to it, Damon. Thank you. Happening now in Fredericksburg, the family of a man found dead Saturday is preparing to address what they call dissatisfaction and concerns over law enforcement handling the missing person case of Darius Apia in January 25th. Now, a spokesperson for Fredericksburg Police told DC News Now there is no indication of Apia's death being a homicide. And because of that, it may take up to 6 months for the result of the autopsy to be made public. The family says Apia left his job at a furniture store, and phone records show he picked up a to-go order just minutes after that. His car was discovered days later. A search that last Saturday led to the discovery of his body in a creek near Hazel Run. We'll have more on this story coming up on DC News Now at 6. In Maryland, Hyattsville police need your help finding this woman on your screen. They say the suspect assaulted a pregnant woman on January 28th in the 6000 block of America Boulevard just before 8 o'clock. Investigators say she punched and kicked the victim. They say that woman was treated at the scene and is expected to be okay. If you know anything, you're asked to call that number on your screen. And in Maryland, Montgomery County Fire and Rescue responded to a fire of a Wegmans tractor trailer. Crews were called to Observation Drive and Ridge Road earlier this morning. We're told no injuries were reported at that fire. Well, back here in the district's 911 call center, also known as DC's Office of Unified Communications, was in the hot seat at a city council hearing this afternoon. And a former 911 call taker was one of the people testifying about the problems within that call center. Our political and government reporter Leonard N. Fleming has been covering those problems for now, and he's joining us live from the Wilson building. So, Leonard, what were some of the highlights from today's hearing?
Sabrina Richardson says that the 911 call center leadership, they weren't being truthful. And she came to this hearing here, the city council hearing today, to talk to them about, to talk to public officials about trying to hold them more accountable to save lives.
Statistics are more important than saving lives at the OUC.
For more than 2 decades, Sabrina Richardson was a 911 call taker in D.C. She retired last month in protest of the failure she says she witnessed in leadership.
There are people dying. Family members don't know why their loved ones are DOA when they get there on the scene.
The 911 call center has been under fire for years for dropped or calls on hold and low staffing levels that, according to the auditor's report, say has led to deaths. Richardson, who testified at a city council hearing on the call center Thursday, provided pictures to DC News Now of staffing levels far below standards.
People aren't staying because they're abused and they're treated basically as if we're on a slave ship.
DC's auditor found in 2 scathing reports that the call center failed to answer calls in a timely way and was slow to fix known problems.
There are certainly things that need to be addressed. I know that. I think we all know that.
Heather McGaffin runs the 911 call center and testified before a council hearing today.
What I'm trying to do here is really build an agency for the ages.
Councilwoman Brooke Pinto led the passage of emergency legislation last year to require the agency to make public staffing levels and mistakes.
District residents deserve and should demand a 911 call center that leads to safe, effective, and accurate response.
McGaffin wouldn't talk to me after the hearing, but she told council committee members that she's committed to transparency and fixing this agency, something that critics are not so sure. Reporting from the Wilson Building, Leonard N. Fleming, DC News Now, back to you.
Leonard, thank you for that update. And new this afternoon in Tech Talk, Mayor Muriel Bowser has signed an order outlining actions her administration is taking to better use artificial intelligence in the city. Leaders say there will be a clear training plan for agencies that will use AI as the city tries to figure out ways to improve city services, increase efficiency, and analyze data. And as part of this plan to get ahead of AI, the city will also create an AI task force.
So among the first employees to raise their hands when we had a cabinet meeting and the mayor had Stephen Miller talk about AI tools were the agencies that are in human services because they're stretched very thin. And they both want the training and help, and they want to understand how tools can help them be co-pilots, the phrase used earlier today, with the work they have. So over the course of the next couple of months, there's an expectation that there'll be a clear delineated training plan.
The administration will undergo a 3-year process to help every agency develop strategies for AI. Today's announcement was made from the Microsoft Innovation and Policy Center in downtown D.C. Several Frederick County Public School staff spoke up during a recent public hearing about better pay. Our Skylar Salas, who covers the area, has more from one person who spoke during that meeting on the issue.
During a recent public hearing to discuss the Frederick County Public School budget, several community members voiced the proposed budget is not enough, and staff members say they need more to balance with the overall growth of the county.
During the FCPS public hearing, the school board announced their proposed budget, which included the district meeting the minimum salary of $60,000 for teachers. But according to the president of the Frederick County Teachers Association, Missy Dirks, the minimum is just hitting the bottom of the barrel.
It is the base that we negotiated to start from. That is the only money that's in that salary resource pool. So it doesn't provide a place for us to gain competitiveness. We'll just be treading water.
So far, the district has expected there to be more growth in enrollment.
This year, we are anticipating to grow by 1,246 students. And that's how we will staff our schools, is based upon that enrollment.
But with that growth, FCPS staff worry that the proposed salary doesn't compensate for the growing number of class sizes.
What we really need is a concerted effort to bring down class size overall so that we can more readily absorb students and things. And we get, the lower the class size, the better individualized instruction teachers can give.
Dirk says that she hopes the board takes note of these issues with the budget, or she sees retention and recruitment for more staff as more of a challenge.
We'd like to get to a point where we can get beyond the essential and do more for our students.
Now, the board is set to submit its final budget to the county by next week. Reporting in Frederick County, Maryland, Skylar Salas for DC News Now.